Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living with me, Mark Candelaria. I'm an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I'm the founder and now partner of a fabulous 25-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and now Napa over the last 20 years, and in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we're excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our clients. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously designed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. And I'll tell you what, our kitchen's coming together at the Candelaria Design offices, and that kitchen's going to be a lot of fun. And I got to thank the crew over there, Jay and the crew at Monogram. You guys are the best, so thank you so much. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Okay, I hope everybody's having a great week. I know we're down to the final countdown here before the holidays, and I don't know about you, but it's getting a little bit crazy. We're having our office holiday party tomorrow night at the Hermosa Inn at Lawns, and so I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have the entire Candelaria Design crew, all the kids, all the family, pets, dogs. I mean, we're going to have the whole kit caboodle there, so it's going to be a wild night tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to some fun time and a little celebration to end the year. And then Friday, Isabel and I are off to Enchantment Resort up in Sedona. I was fortunate to have worked with my former partner and mentor, George Christensen, on the design of that resort back in 1982 through 1987. And it's always a special place for Isabel and I to go to. So we're looking forward to our little retreat. We're going to celebrate the 9-year anniversary of our first date. And that was at Zinc Bistro here in Scottsdale. But Enchantment is a special place for us. We're going to go retreat, do a little goal setting. We are going to record a podcast from there. And so we're really looking forward to that weekend. Then don't forget to bid on our dinner set for January 16th at Taliesin West. We will start with a sunset cocktail tour, followed by a dinner that I will personally prepare and serve by my team, a couple of which are actual graduates of Taliesin West. The link is in our story notes, and the proceeds go to the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation. Bidding ends January 9th, so you want to give the perfect gift this week before the holiday. How about getting your bid in on a couple seats? We're giving 30 seats away. We're not giving, we're auctioning off 30 seats. So it should be a great evening. We're thinking about making it actually black tie cocktail, so it's real elegant, kind of done in the way Frank Lloyd Wright would have loved for us to do that. So get your bids in. It all goes to the foundation. It's a great cause. And then don't forget to write, review, and subscribe, and screenshot it and send it our way, as we'll pick our winner for the trip to Spain on our 2020 Spain tour set for June. So get that screenshot, subscribe, direct message it to me, email it to me. We'll put it in the drawing. And the drawing will be held on our podcast on December 31st. Isabel and I will pick the winner, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I've got another encore performance here podcast. I kind of like these. This one, I didn't delete the file, thank God. But when I did the podcast, some changes have come to my guest. And so we thought, you know what, instead of trying to edit it and plug in this and plug in that, let's just re-record the whole thing. So Elliot Barkan is so kind to come back and re-record. Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you for doing this for us.
Oh, no problem. And then you brought a guest. Your fiance or girlfriend? What's the right? Where am I right now?
Fiance.
Fiance. Okay, that's what I thought.
And partner in our real estate
and
team.
Partner. So keep that mic close to you there, real close. Okay, I got Corinne Hale here. So
Good morning.
there we go. See, this is nice, you guys. I like how this is all unfolding here. So, all right. So you were with the brokery
Yes,
when
just
we
a couple weeks
when
ago.
we recorded the podcast about a month ago,
Definitely.
and since then something's changed. So I'm gonna let you just parlay right into that.
Yes. So in the last couple weeks, thank you for taking the time to record this again with us because it was unexpected change. But in the last 2 weeks now, we decided to make a move from the brokery over to Launch Real Estate, who we're really excited about as a team. They're the #1 producing office in Paradise Valley and Arcadia, which is where we do a lot of our houses and our business. So we it was kind of a surprise how it all came up, but at the end of the day, it turned into a great opportunity for us, and we couldn't be more excited. Our entire team is moving over. And
So how many people is that?
there's Corinne and myself and
Yep.
6 team members who are moving over with us.
Wow.
One of the things that's been a challenge, we're moving office spaces as well. So when we left the broker, we had officed out of there previously.
Yep.
And we're going to get a new building. We're buying a building over on 75th and Indian School, just north of Indian School right there.
'Kay.
It's, on 6th Avenue. We're going to renovate the entire first floor. It's a 5,000 square foot building. And
Wow.
we're going to have the 2,500 square feet downstairs. So we may need some help from you. We're
Yeah,
gonna,
you know where to
Yeah.
call. We'd love that.
Really.
So is all of Launch moving over there then?
No, this
So just
is just our group. Launch
Gotcha.
is located on Marshall there
Yeah.
in Old Town. They got the great
Right
coffee
across from
shop.
my wife's shop there.
Yes, right there.
Studio. Yep.
And we love the coffee shop. It's been a really fun experience to move over and work with some of the people in their main office
Right.
and the agents there. But the new office will just be specifically for our development company and our group.
Oh, that's awesome. And so I didn't know that part, so that's
Yeah.
new.
We're still it's unofficial. We'll say right now we're in contract to buy it, and we're going through the due diligence, and it's
Yeah.
all looking pretty good. But
Well, that's great. Congratulations. Wow. So this has all just happened in the last month since I spoke to you.
in the last 2 weeks, I would say. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, we were pretty comfortable where we were beforehand, and it was just for different reasons we decided to make the change, and we're just looking. Then we're going to be out of the office, so I was looking late at night one night, and there was nothing really on the market. Just searching on a Google search for office space available, and this one came up, and it was actually the building is a family office for Elliot Pollock, who's an economist.
Realtor,
and
real estate economist,
Yeah.
forecaster.
And he's officed there for I think something like 20 years.
Wow.
He put the building up for sale. They're going to move and downsize a little bit, and we are taking advantage of the opportunity.
Interesting. So my
The second story has 4 offices that are currently occupied. Depending upon what we do, we might lease it up to other agents. Just depends, but the downstairs is going to be a fun workspace for all of us.
well, I know my wife's looking for space.
Well,
Yeah, so
we'd like to pair up.
there's possibility there.
Definitely, it might be we've got I think upstairs is 2,500 square feet, so we might be a perfect opportunity.
Maybe
Or we
we'll
could cut it in half.
even invest a little bit with you guys.
Yeah, now's
So,
the time.
Yeah,
We're-
see,
we're-
these deals happen right
Yeah,
here on
right.
these podcasts, man. This is how fast we roll, right?
Right.
Check in with us 2 weeks from now. Hell, we might be building a new stadium or something. No, that's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you guys. That's just great.
So thank you. Yes, it's been a great couple weeks. It was a surprise, but we just turned into the best opportunity for us. And
Yeah.
everyone on our team's excited. I think it's good for our brand, and
So it's definitely good for your brand. So
we're
that's
excited
good.
about it.
Congratulations to you guys. Okay, so we're going to back up a little bit. You're 32 years old, if I remember right.
yes, that's right.
And 32 is awfully young to be doing all the things you're doing. So I'm just super impressed with you, and I love your energy, and I love being around you. I'm so glad we're working together. But how did you get into real estate all together? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And I grew up there. I moved out to Phoenix, to Tempe, when I was 18. I graduated high school, and I came out originally for Arizona State. I went into the
Go Devils, by the way. That was a
right.
good win the other night.
Right, but I'm a Buckeye still. So
Oh, okay.
We got a
We
good.
won't hold
we got
that
a good
against you.
win this weekend.
Yeah.
Too. But
I think you guys beat us in the Rose Bowl one year, if I remember right.
1997.
Yeah,
I think
I was at that game.
I was 10 years old during that game. I still remember it.
Yeah.
But I moved out here 2006 and moved into the dorms at ASU, and I wasn't, I guess, all that into the education side of it, so was looking for some ways to get involved with some business and some opportunity, and met a reached out to some real estate professionals and started interning on learning the sales side of the business.
And what year was this?
That was
roughly?
2006.
2006.
So before the crash.
Just things were hopping and
Exactly.
and going full steam.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I started interning and kind of learning the market a little bit and decided I want to get my license. So I actually obtained my real estate license freshman year. I was 18 in the spring.
Wow.
And the market was really hot. I got into it, and it was still the guy I was interning with was doing very great. He was, selling houses that
Left
people
and right.
weren't even looking at them, and it was a good time to kind of learn
That side of things.
get some deals done. I do
Yep.
rental properties around ASU, so I stuck with it through college, through the crash and all that, and 2009, 2010, when I was graduating, the market had kind of come to a point where it
Yep.
wasn't completely crashing. So we started buying houses at auction and foreclosures and short sales.
So you learned all that side of the thing.
Right. So we got right into the investment side, which is where I found what I was passionate about, and that
Yep.
was buying and remodeling and selling them and putting the deals together.
Very cool.
That's originally how I got into it.
Yeah. So so at the same time you were going to ASU, right?
Yes, and I got a degree of interdisciplinary studies with a tourism
Wow.
focus. I think I got away with going to maybe 2 classes in 4 years, but I do have the degree.
You have the degree.
Yep.
Well, that's actually a little different than most of my guests that I've had on here lately. Seems like you're the first one I've had with a degree, but you're not really using that degree.
Not.
So you just
not
got the
at
piece
all.
of paper.
I got the piece of paper.
Yeah, but you were doing other things while that was all happening.
Right, and it was important because I think during the crash, I was fortunate not to be full-time invested. I
Right.
was still kind of in my learning phase of
Yep.
learning off other people's projects and the sales side of it. So it might have been a good thing that I wasn't. I
Right.
hadn't jumped in 2006, 2007, because by the time it was 2009 and 10, it was
The
a
carnage
better
was
time.
yeah,
Right.
the
It
carnage was already out there at
right.
that point.
And it made me look at everything in a very conservative mindset because I saw how terribly a lot of people how devastating it was.
Yeah.
So I think overall it was a good lesson to me during
Yeah.
those years.
Yeah, and you told me last time, I mean, you had a story, I forget, you were on a flight or on a plane or something like that.
Well, there's 2 stories.
Okay,
the
tell
one
me
I
those
think
2
the one you're
stories.
thinking about was the original mentor who I mentioned, and I
Right.
started with in 2006. He was really mid-level, successful realtor. He had a great income and a family. Well, by 2008, he was divorced and took his own life, and his business crashed, and it was just very eye-opening to see.
And you were
how-
right there involved in that whole
Oh, I was.
You were
still,
right there.
I was right there. I fortunately wasn't financially
vested in
vested as much as someone like him was at the time.
it. Right.
But
But you saw what that can do.
Oh man, it was eye-opening, and it allowed me to take an approach still today that's very conservative,
Yeah.
and see how you have to always look ahead and be
Yeah.
prepared for
Things
the
can
worst.
go
But-
things can go bad quick.
Right. But that was, as bad as that situation was, and hard. It was I kind of at that point I could close up shop or stop. But at that point I started my own team then, and I was a senior in college, and it allowed me to branch off and push forward and go into the new market with
Right.
a good perspective.
Good perspective for
on
sure.
everything coming.
Yeah. So what was the other side of that story?
Well, it wasn't related to that story.
Okay.
The other one was another unfortunate circumstance in my career over the last several years was my first partner was my uncle at the time, and we did 150 houses together, fix and flips, bought
Wow.
them at the auctions, and really was a mentor to me on the business side. And in 2016, Michael passed away unexpectedly. He lived a great life. He was 80 years old, but he had an accident and passed away pretty tragically. And I had went home for the funeral. Corinne
That's
and
right.
I and our son Luca traveled home for the funeral, and just were devastated. Just
We're about 90% of the way of the Exeter spec house we did with you.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
we were on the home stretch, but it was just a devastating moment, and this
Yeah.
was our first big. It was
Big
a
deal.
new build. Everything else had
Right.
always been fix and flips.
and the house was under contract and sold, so Michael got to kind of experience that with us. But so Corinne, Luca, and I went back to Columbus for the funeral, and it was just a terrible couple days, and we were on the airplane ride back to Phoenix afterwards, and we sat down next to our current partner on
Yep.
one of our deals, Cal Hahn, who's
Calhoun, great guy.
he's also 80 years old this year. He just turned 80, and we connected with him. I think he could tell we were kind of in a pretty terrible place on the ride home.
Yeah.
And our direction was going a couple different ways, and our minds were going different ways. We sat next to Cal, and we just made this immediate connection and stayed in touch. Nothing about business for months, actually. We just kind of got together for dinner and lunch and connected. And he not only are we partnered on some of our deals with Cal, we're very close family friends, and Corinne's become close with Trudy, Cal's wife.
Yeah, they're nice people.
It's almost like Michael had passed us, coming right back.
Isn't it funny how those things happen, though, in life?
Right.
It was a handshake for sure. It was such a smooth transition, and there was that level of comfort between us.
Yep.
And we just instantly bonded. I'm with his wife, I go to.
But I mean,
lunch
don't
with
you
his
think
wife.
it's funny how you just happen to be sitting next to him in that plane just randomly?
Divinely appointed,
right?
And there's no other way to really put that into words.
Right.
When something like that happens, and he was just. Elliot enjoyed it. He'd come back from breakfast or lunch with him and talk about how great the lunch was and the conversation and how he was mentoring him. And he took a true interest in what we were doing.
Right.
And he had a great background. He developed Safeways and did some small communities in Ohio. And it was just mind-blowing, the similarities and how we just meshed so well.
Right.
And particularly the age, him being at his stage of his life and me being where I was, it was such a similar relationship that it was a great experience.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun relationship for us.
No, and we talk about that a lot on this podcast too, is how important mentorship is to everything that we do, whether you're in architecture, real estate, whatever profession you're in. I think there's such an opportunity now for us older guys and ladies to help the younger ones with our experience, our failures, our successes, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and pass that torch along versus just losing it and you guys having to find everything out the hard way.
Definitely. And it's nice because we're able to do that on our real estate side, which is we have a lot of agents who are newer into, maybe not younger than us, but in the real estate industry, younger than us and learning. And we part of our enjoyment of having the team is working with them and trying to pass that along and help them get their relationships to build their business.
Sure.
And it's definitely a very important role, I think, on any level.
Right. So then you and I met on that first house you mentioned on Exeter Lane there, Exeter Road, or is it Road
Boulevard,
or Lane?
I think it is.
Yeah, maybe it's Boulevard. You're right. And that is, I love that house. That is just, it was a very interesting lot because it was kind of this weird rectangle, but the view was skewed at like a 45 degrees, and we kind of did our studies and put it all together, and the family who bought it are just wonderful people. I mean, I couldn't have thought of nicer people to have bought that house.
Yes, and we've maintained a really close relationship with them. They love it. They decorate it for the holidays.
Yep.
More than anybody on the street, I think.
Yeah, they do. And we've done 2 additions for them since then as well.
Awesome.
They fit the house very well. It was like it was designed for their family to operate and flow in, and it's nice
so
to
I
see.
saw him a few months ago, and we've been talking about cooking there some night. So you might want to rattle his cage and just remind him of that, because we've never done that in that house.
I can text her.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
So we've done that. So we did that house with you, and then we've just started working on this new house with you in January. You hired us, and if I remember right, we kind of started right the end of January, and we had conceptuals done for you by Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Right?
That was
Instantly.
Yep.
It was a quick turnaround. We appreciate that because we like to move quick. It's part of our
Right.
model of being a spec builder is to move quickly and get them built, get them sold, so we can do more with you. And,
totally.
I think we had a permit in 5 to 6 months.
Yep.
Which was
I think by May we had a permit or early June.
Yeah, and then we were right after we were gone for July. We started late July, early August. We started moving, and it's an awesome house. It's
So tell us where it is.
So it's Paradise Valley on 38th Place and Bethany Home between
Right on the southwest corner.
Yeah, between Camelback and Lincoln.
Yep.
Really great neighborhood, full acre lot, looking right at Camelback Mountain, the Prang Monk there, which you've perfectly framed in the master bedroom.
Awesome.
And Piestewa views.
The other
all
ways,
from
yeah.
the other-
I think you got some city lights a little bit, don't you?
little bit. You can
Yes,
check
on the back of the
on the
house.
back side.
It's the main house will be about 6,500 square feet, and then you guys just finished designing the guest house
Yeah,
for us.
the guest house is going to be fun.
After the fact, we decided that's a lot of people are wanting the guest house.
It's kind of
right now.
it's kind of a cabana / guest house.
Yeah, exactly.
combo.
And it's got a 1-car garage attached to it,
which is
so,
nice.
So we just finished the guest house. With the guest house and the exercise room, we're at about 7,100 square feet.
Okay, that was my next question. I couldn't remember exactly how big. 7,100.
7,100, and we're full go on framing, and rough in is starting. So we're looking at mid next year. We'll have a finished house there, ready to go.
So see, 6 months, guys. See, I told you we can work fast if we get a client that lets us work fast.
Definitely.
Right?
It was easy. We got through it quick, and it was fun, too.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Loved your process. Just sitting down from the beginning with you guys and placing the floor plan.
Yeah, my little pieces mode of designing.
I'd say it's unlike anyone we've ever worked. It's just a fun experience.
Yeah. Everyone's involved.
I think every meeting that we finished, we looked at each other and were like, okay, we're way ahead of schedule. What do we do next? Let's go to the next spot. Well, I don't have it spec to do this for 3 or 4 more weeks. And we were handling it in that meeting. So we had fewer meetings.
Yep.
And we were so efficient with moving forward. And there wasn't a bunch of back and forth of mistakes on your guys' end either, where I forgot to change.
Well, my project manager, Matt, is a great guy, isn't he?
I was just going to mention, and Matt, he was part of the reason that it's been so smooth.
He keeps things rolling, man.
He's pushing us in the areas we need to make decisions on. And
but in a nice way.
Definitely, looking out for us.
So. Yeah, looking out for you, exactly. So, no, that was a lot of fun. Then we were over at Solstice Stone. We'll give them a little call out here. We had a fun little meeting there, picking out some cool materials for the dining pavilion on the front of the house.
We did. So we were over there. There was too many choices, but we did gravitate towards one piece. It just kind of called our attention. We walked over there, and it has some very subtle detail in it.
We all liked it instantly.
Oh, I mean, we just looked at each other and we're like, done, this is it.
And when they said the price was really, really good, then we were
very affordable, and we were mind blown by the price.
So we all walked out of there pretty happy. We did that quick. It was like a 15-minute meeting.
We did.
Yeah.
I had like 2 hours spec for that when thinking we were going to go back and forth, but we didn't.
Nope. Boom.
And it's a good thing because it actually takes 16 or 17 weeks
to get it
to come in. Yeah, which is fine at this point since we're so far ahead of the game. But if you get stuck in a bind at the end of the project, that doesn't work. So
they're direct from the quarry, so they won't have a middleman, and the quarry will.
Oh, there's part of your reason for that
us.
margin.
Yep.
Or that lack of margin.
They will produce it because we have a couple of different thicknesses on it, so we could have a design on that.
Yeah, that's going to be real subtle, real pretty.
They will design it there and then ship it over to us, so there's not going to be anything else in between.
Right. So we have this lovely lady sitting next to us who we didn't have on the first take of this podcast. So let's talk about her a little bit. How'd she get into the whole picture?
So Corinne and I met in 2014. She had a client who purchased, actually, I put a flip on the market in South Scottsdale. We did a lot of projects in South Scottsdale over the years.
Okay.
And nice remodel. And one of her best friends, who Corinne represented as her realtor, bought the house from me. And that was our initial meeting, I guess. And then after the deal closed, we didn't really get to connect too much, just kind of work together on it. She called me up for whatever reason and said, I have another deal over in Arcadia for an investor, and maybe it'll work for you. And I actually met her there. That's where I first met you, at the house, I think. And she's saying
she's got a different story.
It's okay.
But
it's close enough.
Get used to this, man. You know that mentorship part? This is I'll help you on this whole side. I've got a lot of experience in this department.
But so I ended up buying that property, and Corinne was real familiar with that neighborhood and helped me a bunch with the project, and we connected with some of our realtors and started working together and developing our personal relationship at the same time. And from there, that's
just kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah, that's where it started.
All right, Corinne, give us your version of this story.
Well, I'm super spiritual, so true story. My girlfriend did buy one of his flips, and then that house closed. We had an off-market property, and I had this nagging feeling where I audibly argued with God about sending him the property. I didn't want to do that. I'm like, I don't know him. I'm not going to send it to him. I'm going to do my own network, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I sent it to him. He closed on it 6 days later. Everything else is true. He had this project that he was going to do. It was one of his first big renovations, doing a big addition. And I went over and I met with him on it, and we worked back and forth closely on it. That particular house that he bought, we ended up buying a few years later and moving our family into it.
Wow.
I forgot about that.
Isn't that funny how that works?
But as he said, we just kind of merged teams. I was actually trying to move back to California at the time.
No, is that where you're from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Southern California. I was trying to move back. My oldest was a junior at Brophy. And then we ended up he had a mind and a heart for others, and I was so moved by how he had a passion for helping other people.
Yep.
That I didn't think I could go wrong partnering with him, even though I was trying to move back. I went, great, guess I'm staying in Arizona.
Yep.
And that's kind of our story. So we did develop our team, and then we just became best friends, and that's the rest is history.
That best friends thing really makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Huge, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told me, because I am older than him, if you would have told me 10, 15, even 20 years ago that I would work with my spouse, I wouldn't have happened. I would have rolled my eyes and been like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck on that
Not
one.
going to work for me. And
yeah, it works good for Isabel and I, too. I mean, we have separate businesses, but we work together on quite a few things, and we love it, you know.
So you're pretty close.
Yeah. Well, you're both beautiful people. I mean, you guys should be fashion models. So, I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, this is a podcast, and I've got the only face for radio, but these two could be on camera and look awesome. So, tell me some of the trends you guys are seeing in real estate right now. I mean, what's going on? Where's the market? I mean, I seem like everywhere I drive, I see half of the states from California now.
Right,
is that
so
true?
Half of the state from California.
Well, it seems like half of California is here now.
Right. The market is.
A lot of Buckeyes.
And a lot of people from Ohio and the Midwest again, right?
Midwest, and it's funny because you see such a difference between the two perspectives
of what they want.
Well, and the pricing.
The reflection of reality. So they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. We're right in the middle, kind of, right?
Right. But when someone comes from Ohio or the Midwest,
and they look at us.
And they look at our pricing and they say, "Oh my gosh, that's just over the top. No way, it's not going to sustain." And then we actually had a couple California buyers recently, and they come out and they're like,
"What's wrong with this house? How come it's so cheap?
I can get this for $1.5 million," and they sign up on the spot. So it's just, which is a challenge for us because we have to monitor the expectations, whether they're from where they're coming from, and help them understand our market and how it's different than California, it's different than Ohio. And
so do you think our market's priced properly right now, or what do you think? Is that a loaded question to a realtor?
I personally think so, in my opinion. You can't predict where the market's going to go, but
it seems to me like it's in the right spot. It doesn't seem like it's crazy yet.
Right. I agree, and I think it's going to keep growing because there's so little inventory, and a lot of people are moving here, and the demand is really high. It's it depends on who you're talking to. We don't know what's going to happen, but in my opinion, I think we're in a good place right now, and it's going to keep going in the right direction.
And I also think it depends on what community you're talking about. Where we specifically work in Paradise Valley and Arcadia, especially 85018, is very unique to its pricing.
Right.
And you'll have someone from the East Valley talk about what we sell a house per square foot in Arcadia, and are mind-boggled.
Right.
And it's not far off than some California pricing to be in this immediate area.
Right.
But outside of that, I feel like we're a very unique market that people don't take into account. You can't compare us to a Detroit. We have still baby boomers coming to retire.
Right.
We have corporate America housing. We have so many corporate heads here.
Yeah.
Cost of living is relatively cheap.
Oh, it's easy to get around. I mean, this weather's obviously great.
Life is great, yeah.
No, I go all around the country, and I just tell people, I said, look, I know it's hot here, but it seems like it's getting hot everywhere else too. So I'd rather have our hot than Florida or Texas is hot.
Right.
And then the rest of the year, it's beautiful here,
And for the times where it is hot, you're so close to California.
You're close to
Mexico.
everything.
It's
you can go
so
anywhere.
Easy, the travel and convenience.
Yeah, you go up to Flagstaff in 2 hours.
Right.
And so to me, this is one of the best places I've ever been. In terms of what you mentioned, I think is kind of interesting too. I think there really is something for everybody here. My daughter just moved here from Denver, and Morgan just helped her buy the house that they just bought.
Oh, awesome!
And so, but it was like $300,000, and it's amazing what you don't get for $300,000 these days. They're out buying a water heater because the water heater that they put on the fix and flip didn't work, and so they're doing things like that. And I just God, I think of my mom and dad. They bought their first house, a 3-bedroom brick house in Denver, for $13,000 in 1961.
We'll meet sellers who were in a similar position as that. Like in the Arcadia area, a lot of the houses were built from 50 to 65.
Right.
And we'll come across the original owner often.
Often.
They'll say, yeah, I bought the house for $10,000.
Crazy, isn't it?
And they're excited to sell they've stayed there for
that's part of their retirement.
60, 70 years, and they're going to retire. A lot of them retire and take that money and go to retirement communities. And
right.
We knock down the houses and
put
the new ones up.
Crazy. So do you guys sell to like the millenniums? Do you have clients? I mean, I know Morgan just sold the house for my daughter. So you're selling to like millenniums, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Are there people in their 70s or 80s looking for houses?
Yeah, a lot of the Paradise Valley has a good calling for that.
Interesting.
A lot of people have just worked their whole life and they come here and they want the great weather. They like the health care.
Yeah.
And they get the land and the houses. They love Paradise Valley. It
That's
seems
crazy.
to be a
It's
trend, but
interesting.
we do.
You see that.
And a lot of second home buyers are in that price range
Yeah.
or that age
Yeah.
too.
Well, I'm getting ready to do a tear down for good friends of ours. He's 71, I think, and they're going to build all brand new. So
We had a couple move from Desert Highland, way north, was it?
Desert Mountain,
Desert
probably.
Mountain. And they'd been out there for years, and they were actually retiring. I don't know if they were in their 70s, probably more upper 60s. But they moved to Arcadia, right down the street from LeGrand Orange, because they wanted the walkability and the entertainment. They felt isolated, I think, up in North Scottsdale.
Yeah.
So we are seeing everything from young professionals, families, retirees, everybody moving closer to the center of the city within.
Right.
The outskirts of Arcadia. We do a lot of our projects in what's referred to as Arcadia Light or
Right.
Lower Arcadia. And I think the deals in those neighborhoods are still good. Under $400 a foot, brand new construction.
Right.
You're getting 10,000 to 12,000 square foot lots. And to me, that seems like a good deal, and it's going to keep growing.
Yeah. So as I was driving around with my daughter looking at houses for them, some areas really caught my attention. Is that area where Morgan lives down around Oak, and I mean it's right on the fringe. I mean it's Arcadia super light. Let's put it that way.
We had our travel agent bought 2 streets down from Morgan. It was $500,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you look at where you can go to get land and to get a house. I mean, I think a lot of those will become tear downs too.
Yes.
And it's I think that Arcadia Light's going to keep moving to the southwest and to the west because it can't really go east.
Right.
But then there's like Scottsdale Light, which is South Scottsdale to Tempe. I think that whole area is going to just boom because it's all going to become the center of town.
Definitely. And they're doing some major developments around it all. And McDowell and Scottsdale, I believe the whole Papago Center is coming down.
Well, you look at it. Look where it is.
Right.
And look what's sitting there.
The views are gorgeous over there.
Gorgeous.
What I think is really unique, again, to the Arcadia neighborhood is we're on our 3rd wave, our 3rd generation of families who grew up here, went to Hopi, went to Arcadia, or went to Brophy, whatever, and then they want to raise their kids here too.
Right.
And sometimes, especially the younger families, it's so expensive to get into this area. It has no option but to continue pushing out. I mean, when I moved to Arcadia, when my oldest was in 6th grade, and now he's 22.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to move, south of Campbell.
Right.
It was that big of a deal. Now it's obsolete.
Yeah, and I remember what Arcadia looked like 20 years ago. I mean, it looks like Arcadia Light looks like today. So it's like it's just a matter of time, that all can just develop.
Definitely. When it's fun for us because we like bringing the new houses in. So and there's a lot of them left. So we see good opportunity going forward. And
there's a ton in Paradise Valley that are built in the 50s still that are just falling apart.
Just like the one
the
one we knocked down.
No, they're there.
And we want to get a couple of them surrounding it now, too.
And then the other area I kind of see is up around like Cactus and 60th Street and around the Orange Street Country Club. And there's some big properties, and the houses are horrible, And you look at, and they're right there. And they're like close to everything.
Definitely. We actually took on a remodel in that neighborhood a year and a half, 2 years ago now.
Zip code 85254.
Okay, yep.
And it wasn't the greatest one for us. We decided to stick with what we know, which is Arcadia and the PV. We had fun. It was a good learning experience, but we really, our niche is a different buyer, different style. We really like the Arcadia South PV where we're doing the project north of Camelback. And
we know that market pretty well, what those people like and want and how they want to live. And
we live in the neighborhood too, so we connect with it, and it makes it convenient for us.
So how do the two of you live? I mean, you guys are both working pretty hard, right? And you got Luca, right?
Yes.
So that keeps you busy.
Definitely. We're very busy, but we really enjoy what we do. So I think the balance of it is that
you love what you do. So
it's
not
what we do.
it's work, but it's different. It's different when you love it.
Right. So whether even late at night, if we're sitting there working on the computer or talking to somebody on the phone about a property, it's not really feel like, oh no, we're stressing out, because it's actually a fun process to be a part of. So we balance it pretty well.
So how do you balance everything? What? I mean, you don't just work all the time. You guys have got
No.
some other interests or things like that you guys like to do. What do you guys like to do? How do you turn it all off?
So we definitely like to hit the gym. Corinne has been much more consistent than I have. She goes every morning at 5.
Now, where do you
6
go?
o'clock.
We go to the village.
The village, right over here.
Yep.
Oh, I'm fun. I'm usually there around 5.
I'm 5:30 to 6:30.
Yeah. Okay.
So we hit the gym. We really like seeing movies. I think over Thanksgiving, I've saw 3 movies in the past 4 days. I think.
Wow.
So I like going to check out, but we like to go out and have some fun, watch the Buckeyes football,
Yep.
the Lakers basketball, and we like to do short trips. We go out to California all the time. We're actually going to spend the last 2 to 3 weeks of the year out in Coronado, where we spend the summers also. Travel just quick trips lately because Luca's still a little young. We haven't really got away for the 10-day trips or anything, but 3, 4, 5 nights. We've been going to Mexico, Caribbean.
Yeah, that's good.
Stuff like that, but we want to go on one of the Candelaria design.
Oh yeah, we've
Italy
been talking
tours
about
coming
that.
up
That'll
too,
be
so
fun.
That's the next.
That would be awesome. We're definitely going to get you on one of those because I just like something you just said, Corinne, about the spiritual side of everything. So obviously you're a pretty spiritual person.
I am. I'm homies with Jesus
Yep.
for sure. I'm on round 2 in life, so we have Luca,
Mm-hmm.
who was an absolute gift. I did fertility for my other 3 kids, and literally my doctor, when I walked in the office, was blown away and asked me. I had maybe 25 surgeries already, and I had just had a surgery 2 months before I found out I was pregnant, and he looked at me, my doctor, and goes, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, you tell me what I'm doing here." And he was just in awe that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So for me, Luca was that 1 in a million chance, that corner piece of the puzzle that you'd been looking for, and completely completed our life full circle.
Isn't that awesome?
So that's one of the ways we actually remove ourselves and calm down, is we just literally are in love with our kids, you know.
Well, that's awesome.
So my oldest is 22, and then 12 and 10. So we spend a lot of time at sports and stuff, but it just seemed to be a really divinely appointed
Gift.
family and gift, and everybody meshes so well.
That's
and,
great.
So
I love that. I love
diversity with us, but we love it.
Yeah. So with all that you just said, I mean, I know life isn't just a straight line curve to success. I mean, there's a lot of potholes and things like that. How have you guys gotten through some of the challenges in life? What are some of the things that you do to kind of boost yourself through some of those periods?
I think the main thing for me is just I always have had this vision to keep going, where when we have a success, it just recognize that that's a temporary success.
Yeah, they're short-lived.
Right, they're short-lived, and you want to take advantage of it and use it as opportunity. So we always start looking ahead and be prepared. So if like what we learned from when the economy went down is you had some great projects and you had some big home runs, but then those are finishing up, and you always have to look what's going to position you to take advantage of what comes next. So
right.
We always are looking for new deals to have line up, that we never have a slow period that you're sitting back and saying, oh, well, we just hit some great deals, but now we see a lot of people in our position take off, and they'll be out of the business a couple of years. They'll have a couple good deals, and they'll see them out of town or doing things, just getting distracted.
Living off the laurels.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we always focus on the future and making sure we're prepared for anything to evolve if the market does change. We don't leverage ourselves. We want to make sure we have an exit strategy for everything we do. We try to stay ahead of the curve, So I think that's one thing, not to get too high or too low, just kind of put ourselves in a position to keep taking steps forward and growing every year. And we've
so from the failures, how have you dealt with some of those?
I think failures sometimes are you fail forward in the right direction, and then it's not really a failure. It's just a learning curve. Like I've had opportunities, and like for example, I think I mentioned this last time we were working on. I put maybe 2 years working on the Greasewood Flats property up in North Scottsdale, and I was young. I mean, I was in my low 20s, and I was going to be a huge development for us, and it just totally went away. The whole thing fell through after 2 years of effort and fees and lawyers and engineers and just all down the toilet, basically. And it felt somewhat like a failure at the time, but the one thing that came from it, which I think, Mark, you do so great at, was the relationships we made.
Sure.
And I connected with a banker, a engineer, a lawyer, all these trades who are now
Part of your
important
team.
pieces of my team. And
Yep.
not only that, directly from that, not that deal went away, but it led to another deal that was one of the more profitable ones we've ever done. And instead of burning the bridges and moving on and being frustrated with losing out on 2 years, which is a lot of time at that point for me and a lot of effort into it
Yep.
for a big opportunity, every failure I feel like has something to capitalize on. And that's just one. And I mean, I've had that happen in my life.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. I
daily.
think you gotta look at the failure and then sort out, like with a strainer, all the good things that you can get out of it. Just
Right.
extract as much out of that failure that's positive, and then parlay that into the next thing. Because otherwise, I mean, so many people get stuck in the failure and then, woe's me, oh my God, look at this is horrible. And all they're doing is focusing on the parts of it that were bad, and they stay stuck there. You know.
I think in other terms, I guess to shorten it up, like you count it all joy. So we
Yeah.
like you had said, you extract it, you take it, and we are constantly trying to take away from it what could grow us
Sure.
and prosper us. And I feel like the battle is always in your mind.
Yep.
And so you can either be the victim or you can prosper from it and you can grow.
Yep.
And, you can take down your giants and
Sure.
keep going. And I think that's what we try to do, to be humble in the process.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And when we make mistakes that are failures too, and something comes up and you say, "Oh man, I messed up on that." One thing that we've liked to do is just own our mistakes
Right.
and fix them,
Yep.
even if it hurts us a little bit. It's just something that we want to be there for, whether it's for a client on the real estate side, the build side, the development side. There's gonna be things that come up and they don't go to plan, and you can kind of pass it down the line, put it on
Sure.
a subcontractor, on another person, or we at the top can just address it and fix it and make it right.
Yeah. Well, people respect
Well,
people for that too.
and
you know?
in doing so, we've also created back to you like relationships. So
Yep.
just this weekend, someone who bought one of our spec houses, we were hanging out with, having fun and having relationships, and they just have a different place in their heart for you when you own things. Like Elliot had mentioned, even if it's not something that was directly as a result of us, but
Right.
it's something that had come up, and we just extend that olive branch and help
Yep.
so much.
Yeah, I always, what I've learned is you put so much time into building a relationship, and then the project is done, you move on, and off it goes. And I've learned that maintaining that relationship and maintaining that connection leads to so many other things versus just taking them as one-offs and just moving up the food chain. I just kind of bring that whole family with me is what I love doing. And it's fun, it's fun to look back at clients I've done houses for 40 years ago, and I'm still talking to them, and watching how they've used the house. And I don't know, I love that.
We do too. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We do too, and it's important. And then as you do more projects, they're going to put in a good word, and it'll go a long way over
Yep.
the long term.
Absolutely. So what are some of the new things what are some of the dreams that you guys have?
With our
With
we need to
everything.
do our next primary house.
we want to build a house with you.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be fun.
For the market.
Yeah, the last several years.
You just want that free
Right.
dinner, that's all.
Right, yeah. Well,
We have a couple of houses we could use that on with you.
Yeah, there you go.
but the last, so we build houses and sell them for our business, but also the last several years we built our own houses, stayed for 1 to 2 years, and sold those
Yep.
houses. Actually, we just moved out of our last house, and the people who bought our house had bought our previous house, so they kind of followed
They're
us
following you?
to the next
Yeah,
one.
I've got some clients like that.
So we're doing another one right now, but we really do want to get a lot somewhere and build one with you, a place that we can stay.
Yeah.
'Cause as much fun as it is to build them, it gets a little bit stressful
We're
when
finally
we're
getting tired.
Yeah, so we finally bought this place. It was the same thing. We were moving every 2 years, and it's like, we're done. We like this spot. It's just, it's perfect.
Right.
And it's just, it's like, we're done moving. Look how much stuff we have. Can you imagine moving all this every 2 years? No.
we've
Move 4 kids.
Yeah, right?
No, we've been doing it the last couple of years, but so we have this one we're building now, which may be a spec, may not. We might occupy it for a while, but ultimately we want to get a great lot that we could build with you and
That'd be fun.
stay for the long term.
That'd be a lot of fun. So when are you guys going to be in your new office? What's the timeline?
So we're closing on the acquisition of the building on like early January, and we want to gut it's all an internal gut. So just cosmetically rip out all the walls. Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
And probably 3 months. It's probably like an over-the-counter type of permit.
Yeah.
but
TI.
3 to 4 months to get it in really good shape. So middle of the year we'll
Yeah,
be,
that's
and
awesome.
we're temporarily officing on Scottsdale Road and Indian School with my original partners who it has his own group now and moved over to launch with us is the Glimpsher group, Jason Glimpsher, and this is another coincidence on timing. He was finishing up remodeling his office space right next to C's Candy on Scottsdale Road. So he's got 1,500 to 2,000 square feet there, and he extended us an offer he welcomed us to join him there while we were moving into the new office. So he joined launch as well. He was with us at the brokery, and he's got a great team, and he does a lot of sales over at the Optima Camel View and all over the neighborhood.
Wow. Interesting.
A close friend and partner of ours for years, and it was nice of him to help us out when we were kind of out of an office for the temporary. But the new office will be up and running by early part of the year.
That's perfect. That's great. So we got the holidays coming up. You guys have any special plans for the holidays?
We're going to take the family to Coronado.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's kind of our time to unwind and unplug, and we're very much beach people. And when you have a crew as large as ours, it's easier just to drive 5 hours than trying to do the airport.
Yeah, do the logistics of all that.
So
you said you were from California. Where are you from? Southern California?
So my last house was in North County, San Diego.
Okay.
But born and raised, grandparents moved here. I lived in Colorado for a short time.
Okay.
Montrose and outside.
I'm a Durango boy.
Oh, okay. So right by Telluride, you know.
Yep.
It's where I learned to ski. And then ever since then, it's very hard to get home out of you, and California very much is home. So
well, Coronado's fun. You can walk everywhere and go grab coffee in the morning, and that's kind of cold for the beach, though, right? In December.
Yeah, we'll probably be avoiding the beach.
I couldn't get this guy to go anywhere else. He at first was very against Coronado. He was like, "Why do I want to go to a town where we're going to run into everybody?" That's
my criticism. I can never get a break there. It's like, "Oh, you're here? Can we meet with you?" Oh, like, "Oh my God, are you serious?"
I agree for the shorter vacations, but we tend to go, when we go there, it's either for the full month or for 3 weeks. So if I'm there for that long, I get a little bored. If I'm not, if it's just, we're isolated and it's just, so it's kind of fun to go, run into people and have some stuff to do.
Yeah, you sound a lot like me. This is kind of funny.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, I wish you guys a very, very wonderful Christmas, and I'm looking forward to the new decade, 2020. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Can you imagine where we'll be 10 years from now? 2029 is here.
I can't imagine, but hopefully we're back here sitting, celebrating some more houses
together.
And, a lot of successes.
Yeah. Any predictions for the next 20 years? Are we going to live bigger, smaller?
I think we're going to live bigger the next 20
You think
years.
so? The next you think people will size up some more?
Oh, maybe not. Like house size, I don't think so. I think house sizes are kind of
coming smaller.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Definitely. We're seeing that. Actually,
I'm seeing smaller and nicer versus big and vanilla.
Definitely bigger with technology, bigger features, maybe pools and the landscape, everything like that. But I think the actual size of the house,
the footprint's smaller.
Footprint is definitely smaller. Is what we're seeing.
Yep. And do you see more contemporary, more traditional, or a combo of the two?
I think a combination depends on the community again.
Yeah.
Where Paradise Valley soars with some of the modern and the contemporary.
Yeah, what we're seeing is a real trend towards Mediterranean is what I'm calling it. So everyone's kind of moderned out. It's like, it's too plain. I need something. So they want the stone. But they don't want it dark and medieval.
No.
So it's kind of a combo. It's kind of a mid-zone of the two, which I think is a great style.
I like what we're doing.
Yeah. I think we're kind of crossing that bridge pretty nicely.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing that house come to life here in the next 6 months.
Definitely want to get you out there.
It's just down the street from me. I just got to get over there.
Check it out.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much. How do we reach you guys now? How do we get a hold of the two of you?
So our website is barkangroups.com with an S on the end. The new office will be in Old Town Scottsdale. Our Instagram is Barkan Group without the S. And you can find us anywhere online. Our phone numbers are on there. Once we get the office open, we'll have a little welcoming party and have you guys all out there. Check it out. That'd be great. And we're always available.
Well, I wish you guys continued success, lots of love, and a fabulous, fabulous holiday.
And we wish the same for you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Elliot and Corinne. Happy holidays and Happy New Year to the two of you. I tell you what, I love those two. They are so dynamic and so energetic and just fun to be around, and they totally inspire me. And you're going to be hearing a lot of them in the years to come with their projects in Arcadia, Paradise Valley, Scottsdale. They are just two very dynamic people. And you got to check out the house that we're doing with them on the southwest corner of 38th Place and Bethany home in Paradise Valley. It's coming together. It's being framed right now, and it's going to be an awesome home. So anyway, I want to thank our newest sponsor, Stockett Tile and Granite. They are going to be doing some work for us on our new kitchen also, right there next to the Monogram Boys. So I tell you what, this kitchen is going to be awesome, so awesome. So I'm very excited, wishing all of them happy holidays. And we're going to head off to Enchantment on Friday. And I've got an incredible podcast for you next Monday. Letitia Fry, the auction-tainer. You guys all know her. You all go to the galas. And she is dynamic, charismatic, and her story will totally blow you away. So definitely listen to that. And I'm checking out. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.